up? Welcome back here, guys. As you can see, I'm not healthy, like not completely. It's gonna take a while until I will finally be able to use both of my hands. I can just lift it up and that's mostly it. I hope you can also hear me well because I don't know. Oh, hello JJ, hello Scrungly Drews. I think you're new on my channel. Welcome here. Yeah, unfortunately for those who don't know, I had an accident, a very sad accident, I would say. Oh, music is very loud. My bad. I hope now it's okay. Yeah, I don't know why exactly, but yeah, as you can tell, it's been a while. I don't know what is what, like in OBS, it's just a new environment right now. JJ, thanks for letting me know, and please tell me if now it's better than before. I'm actually not new here. No, I mean new on live streams. I'm pretty sure it's your first live stream, because I really remember the people that have been here. Hello, Jakim. I'm so happy you guys are joining. So, in case you wonder what are we gonna do today, I have something interesting for you and for me, I would say, because it is you probably already saw in the hold on, let me see. Yes, now it's okay, it's fine. So today we are gonna watch this movie about video games, and I was very surprised to see it available on YouTube for free, because I was literally searching for stuff on the internet and I just typed game developer movies and I found this one, and then I was like, okay, I'm curious, I might give it a try, let me check on which platform is available, and then I saw it's actually free on YouTube, and I was so surprised. I will just draw from now on, though I will just be listening to this in the background. Thank you very much. I hope you will have a great time. And without any more introduction, let's just watch the movie, see how it is. I really hope I can sit long enough with my arm, because there's still a lot of pain. I don't take any medicine for it. I'm brave enough, but yeah, it still hurts a lot when I'm standing on my chair. But when I'm in my bed, it's okay. But anyways, let's forget the pain and let's have fun. Hopefully. By the way, guys, let me now check the sound and let me know if it's too loud or you can barely hear anything. Just inform me. I hope the chat will also work. If not, I will try my best. Okay. Hopefully it's gonna work. Maybe I can. Okay. So the mic is okay. Oh my god. Donkey Kong. All the good games. Let me see. Maybe I can. Yes, we got subtitles. I think you can hear everything is fine. Yes.
Once upon a time, there did exist a world without video games.
Jesus Christ.
Like so many things distinctly human.
Video sound is very low, barely. Oh, okay. Thank you, JJ. Thank you very much. I will increase it maybe like this. Hopefully. I don't remember exactly, but I feel like this one was fully and this one was something like that. I think now should be fine.
Electronic games were born out of a combination of innovation, necessity, and curiosity.
Keep me updated and let me know if you can hear anything, okay?
Early tinkerers made electronic amusements, cheap,
Hello,
crude
Harvey.
entertainment that would transform in time to something potent and alive. This would not just happen by electronic wizardry, but by the endeavors of artists, designers, and entrepreneurs whose initial goal to
Hold on, sorry. Carl, no, I'm not a model.
entertain
Thank you.
also came to challenge, captivate, and enlighten millions of people around the world. The men and women who created this industry allowed their own experiences and the world around them to inform their creations. This is the story of video games. This is Video Games, the movie.
Oh my god. Okay. I don't want copyright from this song, okay? I really don't. It's way too popular. Oh, Jesus. I'm sorry for the audio. We can just enjoy the visuals, not with the music right now. Oh, this is the presentation. Okay, I'm just gonna yap right now. I'm gonna talk. So tell me guys more about you. What are you doing? How have you been all this time? Imagine I wasn't here for 3 weeks, Jesus Christ. I stayed in bed so much. For 2 weeks straight. I didn't do anything. I just read a bit, watched few episodes of a TV show, House of Cards, by the way, for those who are interested. What did I do? I just watched my YouTube analytics, and I was very, very happy to see that a lot of you guys actually subscribed, even though I didn't post anything. So that was that was the thing that made me smile every day. Is truly passion for me, and yeah, it means a lot. Hopefully the subscribe bar will update. I am playing. Oh, wow, have fun. You can. Yeah, let me know if you guys want me to skip this intro, but I feel like I'm very nostalgic right now watching all these games here, even though I haven't played all of them, of course. Prince of Persia, oh my god, I was obsessed with that one. And I remember I wasn't able to Minecraft. I wasn't able to finish certain levels, and I just asked my dad, "Hey dad, can you help me please with this jump on the wall?" And yeah, Forza Horizon. I've always wanted to play Forza Horizon, but I wasn't able to. Maybe we can skip a bit. Hold on. Oh, too much. Oh, I made dynamic door system, doors that can be opened from both sides depending on the player position. I know that's a bit hard to do because I was also trying to do that in my first game, and I felt like it requires too much time. And yesterday I made skin triangle with coding in Unity. Whoa, interesting. And today I will try to make Penrose triangle with coding. Jesus Christ, this is so advanced. But I bet Freya Honor knows. I love Prince of Persia, my favorite series. Yeah, same here, buddy. Okay, let's jump into the movie and see how it is.
I love video games because I have the same experience that I have when I watch a movie that I love or read a book that captures my imagination, but I'm an active participant instead of a passive observer.
Video games have a really interesting role to play in the future of our species, and we're just starting to figure it out right now.
I feel like video games at this point are intrinsically linked into our culture in a way that's irrevocable.
It's not advanced. I just like to do some stuff like that. By the way, you can ask me whenever you want that door system. Thank you so much. Yeah, if I will ever need it in the new game, sure thing. Thank you very much. I don't know about the old one. I don't feel like improving anything for it. For me, it's just like I'm gonna post it, I'm gonna drop it there, and I'm gonna keep creating new stuff because I feel like that's the best way to evolve. But yeah.
I think from here on it goes deeper. I think video games root deeper and deeper into everything we're doing until they're just part of our lives in a way we don't even notice.
All media is relevant to its time. For example, records and cassette tapes disappeared from existence, but music didn't disappear, it was digitized. The same is true for movies and books. They evolved from one form to another. For video games, the evolution is the same. They will change and evolve, but they will forever be a part of our global culture. 100, 200 years from now, video games will still exist.
According to the Entertainment Software Association, the average gamer has been playing video games for 12 years. Adult gamers have been playing for an average of 14 years. Males average 16 years of gameplay, while females average 12. As of
Same somewhere in between.
2013, 49% of all U.S. households own a dedicated game console, and those that do own an average of 2. The average game player's age as of 2013 is 30. And no, it's not all males.
Can you slide subcount somewhere is blocking? Oh, thank you so much for telling me. Yeah, you know what? Maybe I can hide it for now. Thank you. Or I think it's better like this. Thank you so much, and I'm sorry, guys. I told you, it's been a long time.
47% of gamers are females. 42% of game players believe that computer and video games give them the most value for their money compared with DVDs, music, or going out to the movies. Who buys video games? The average age of the most frequent game purchaser is 35. The point? Video games have grown up, and now they're not just in arcades or our living rooms. They're in our pockets. 15% of the most frequent game players pay to play online games, while 33% play games on their smartphones and 25% play games on a handheld device. Most gamers who own dedicated game consoles use them for other entertainment media as well, like watching movies, TV shows, and music. Are gamers social? 62% of all gamers play games with others, either in person or online. What about rating game content? Over 85% of parents are aware of the ESRB rating system, which rated games content and match it with the appropriate gaming age. E for everyone, T for teen, M for mature. But
Unfortunately, I was playing GTA San Andreas. But I don't even 7 or 8 years old or something like that. Yeah.
question on a lot of minds is, do parents really control what their kids play? Over 73% of parents believe that the parental controls available in all new video game consoles are useful. Further, parents impose time usage limits on video games more than any other form of entertainment. Over 90% of the time, parents are present when games are purchased or rented, and 82% of the time, children receive their parents' permission before purchasing or renting a game. Much like movies, games have...
You're not the only one. I played those games too. Not in the right age. I mean, listen, we were too young, okay? We were young and wild and free.
Specific genres and subgenres, such as action, adventure, role-playing, casual games, shooters, strategy games, open world versus linear games, sports games, racing games. The list goes on, and each genre offers its own special mix of interactive entertainment. And yes, each is wildly successful in its own way. In the past decade, video games have gone from a $6 billion to an over $24 billion annual industry, far surpassing movies and music. The bottom line, video games are here, and they are here to stay.
I'm going for the lunch. See you guys later. Have fun. Thank you, JJ. Bon appetit, and see you later. Hopefully, a small body of determined spirits from... Interesting quote.
But where did all this begin? The answer is, well, a bit complicated.
That's the debate of the century, who's the father of video games? And, you know, you can always say Nolan Bushnell because he founded Atari.
The godfather of video games has to be Nolan Bushnell.
It's got to be Nolan Bushnell.
I would say Bushnell.
Nolan Bushnell. I would probably give that to Bushnell.
Nolan Bushnell.
I would probably be in the Nolan Bushnell camp.
The man who came up with the whole Atari series.
Well, I'd have to say the creator of Atari.
Whoever created Pong.
Ralph Baer, back in the late 60s, early 70s, making the brown box.
Ralph Baer because he created the first console.
I think we both agree it was Ralph Baer.
Oh, Ralph Baer.
You can take two different angles here. I can say, whoever started the entire ball rolling is whoever created Pong. Whoever started games as we know them today I'm gonna have to say Shigeru Miyamoto from Nintendo.
Miyamoto.
You like Shigeru Miyamoto?
I think you know who Shigeru Miyamoto is.
But I'd go all the way back to MIT, the guys who did Space War, John Carmack.
Hideo Kojima, I'm telling you right now, brilliant.
It can't just pick one because it's doing injustice to all the other people that helped develop the game.
Right answer.
I don't think I've ever really thought about who started gaming. I'm just appreciate that they did.
Some say it began here, a small back room at the Massachusetts Institute of Technology in 1962 on the PDP-1, the first computer to utilize a visual display.
Steve Russell, which I consider to be the fellow who I stood on the shoulders of, did a game called Space War for the PDP-1. And I played that in college while working in an amusement park, and I felt if I could bring Space War to the arcade, it'd make a lot of money.
It was a game developed as a demonstration of the capabilities of a Digital Equipment Corporation PDP-1 computer back in 1962. A group of students and employees at MIT wanted to create a game that really would showcase the capabilities of this new machine that had one particular feature they were really interested in, and that was a display screen. Before that, most computers had maybe paper tape outputs or something like that, but this one had an actual screen on it.
I would go back to Steve Russell because he's the one that actually made the first playable game. Russell's product was so much fun to play, it infected every PDP-1 in the world, and they were trying to get the people to take it off the machine because it was wasting so much computer time.
Others argue that electronic games began much earlier, or that video games were a byproduct of Cold War technology. As usual, the truth is somewhere in the middle. While many industries and innovators combined to pave the way even for the possibility of the first video game, there is little argument as to the visionaries and the company that finally brought video games to the public in a big way.
I can have another copyright on this channel. I'm just afraid of a strike or something like that, so I won't be able to stream for a week. In case I will receive that, so Pac-Man. I was literally obsessed with that game. Literally obsessed. It really caught my eye. I think the colors or something. I don't know exactly what. Even the gameplay itself, I feel like it's very interesting. I've also always been very attracted to mazes, maze in general. So yeah, hold on. Maybe
the understanding of what makes a good game. He played a lot of games and understood them.
When we started this thing, we found that the games that were most successful were those that were simple to learn but impossible to master. Pong was somewhat of an accident. It was what we considered to be too simple, but when it got all wired up, and it was done by Al Alcorn, he put in some twists to it that were just remarkable and made it a massively fun game.
One of the design features, flaws in the original Pong game, was the paddle would not go to the top of the screen all the way. And I was going to fix it, but I didn't get around to doing it, and I realized that that feature kept the game from two good people from playing it forever. It would never end.
The coining of the phrase video game refers to an RGB, or red, green, and blue raster, or video display device. Let's take Pac-Man, for example, the original. This is a bitmap image of Pac-Man. When enlarged, individual pixels appear as squares. Zooming in further, they can be analyzed with their colors constructed by adding the values for red, green, and blue. A bitmap corresponds, quote-unquote, bit for bit with an image displayed on a screen. A bitmap is technically characterized by the width and height of the image in pixels and by the number of bits per pixel, or a color depth, which determines the number of colors the pixel and ultimately the image can represent. The more bits, the better the games looked. More bits, however, meant more memory was needed, which was in short supply in the early days of gaming. This resulted in games that looked blocky and simple. But that didn't stop designers and gamers from diving headlong into this amazing new medium. .128 and so on. With each generational jump in graphics and so-called image fidelity, the depth of story and immersion in games seemed to progress as well. The technological limitations drove the art form and vice versa. Games were slowly evolving, and those on the inside were growing up with the very art form they were creating.
It was the Magnavox machine, I think it was called the Odyssey. And to show you how different things were there, I mean, basically allowed you to play Pong, really.
That console had no real graphics. There were just squares of light on the TV screen. So there were Mylar overlays that you would stick on the screen.
And so, like, then you'd put up like a haunted house, and then all of a sudden the white Pong ball would be like a ghost, moving through the house.
So you had to kind of use your imagination and those Mylar overlays to understand the story they were trying to tell.
Magnavox presents Odyssey, the electronic game of the future. Odyssey easily attaches to any brand TV, black and white or color, to create a closed-circuit electronic playground. Odyssey gives you all the exciting action of hockey and 11 other challenging play and learning games for the entire family.
I had a very dear friend who was the head of Atco Records. She had an Atari 2600 console in her office, and she pointed at it and asked me, "Do you know what that is?" And I said, "Well, kind of, but what is it?" And she said to me, "It's a license to print money."
Attention shoppers, the new Atari cartridge game is in.
Only Atari makes the world's most popular home video games. The only Space Invaders. The only Asteroids. The only Pac-Man. And the only way you can play any of them is on a home video system made by Atari.
The first game that I ever remember playing was Space Invaders on the Atari 2600. I was 6 years old, and it was at my friend's house, and I was just blown away by the fact that you could manipulate an image on your television.
My first console I remember playing was the Atari 2600. We played everything. We had Donkey Kong, obviously, baseball. I loved Burger Time. I remember my brother saying, like, "Wow, look at the graphics."
Pitfall was like a wonderland because, like there were so many colors. You could only really run, it was a side-scrolling game, but it was amazing. You just see the same screen over and over again. You're like, oh, they added an alligator head that time. Or, oh, there's a vine. The fact that you could go underground in Pitfall like totally blew. Like, oh, you can go there?
I knew enough about computers to know that it was a computer game, and but it was simulating, this alien invasion with one ship on the ground, like defending Earth from this alien invasion. And to me, it, was almost, like being there. Even with those rudimentary graphics, it was just the first time I'd ever had control over something on a television or something on a screen.
Probably the most memorable console of my entire life, and one that I missed, that I wish I still had, was my original Nintendo Entertainment System.
The Nintendo Entertainment System. Your parents help you hook it up. What's it like to play the Nintendo Entertainment System?
When you play the system with the most arcade hits, you're playing with power. The Nintendo Entertainment System. Now you're playing with power.
I think that one of the reasons we get nostalgic about things is it's not necessarily the thing that we were doing. It's not that song. It's not that game or that movie or that book. It's what was happening in your life at that time. It hit at exactly the right time in my life. And the NES then was an amazing, amazing game system.
Games got better fast, it seems like. Before I made it to my teens, everything was kind of, it didn't look as great as the games did in the arcade. But by the time Nintendo came out, things started getting a lot better.
Personal, I've never Nintendo DS, and I was so obsessed with it. I still have it, and I still play from time to time.
I was fortunate to first be exposed to Nintendo as a consumer. And for me, that very first system that I was exposed on was the Super NES. And I have many fond memories and many great stories around my interaction with that system, playing for many, many hours, playing games like The Legend of Zelda: Link to the Past, games like Chrono Trigger, all of these fantastic experiences that for me were my very first gaming experiences.
And I eventually got a Super Nintendo, and then I was all about Star Fox. And I was so into Star Fox and the story and what was going to happen next.
Most of the games, when we got into the Super NES, all of a sudden you had a reason to go do this because you were trying to save somebody. And so just that little bit there brought story elements into the game.
And what I think was really great about Nintendo during that era is they really wanted to make sure that all the games on the system were really high quality.
But Sega Genesis was an entirely different thing. Sega Genesis was to my experience in college as the Nintendo was to my experience in high school. You know, that was a very state-of-the-art console back then.
I think the next time I bought a console,
I like the ad of the Nintendo Entertainment System. Yeah.
console was the PS1. And I was like, all right,
nice.
these games are getting ridiculous, so I got a PlayStation 1.
Hey, plumber boy, mustache man, your worst nightmare has arrived.
Pack up your stuff. I got a little surprise for you here.
Check it out. What do you think about that?
Sony's PlayStation has more than 150 games.
NHL Face Off 97, Jet Moto, Tobal #1, Destruction Derby 2, Crash Bandicoot.
I could go on. I'm going to give you a personal demonstration.
You can't stop, Grandma. You can't.
Ooh, you go, girl.
PlayStation.
I'm going to have to ask you to leave. You're hurting my elbow.
All of a sudden, you had this incredible amount of data on one disk that could also play music and everything else. To me, it was a portal to modern gaming today.
When Tomb Raider came on the scene in 1996, it brought people into a world that they hadn't really participated in before, the 3D world. And it was an immersive world, and it's
I also used to play this game, but on my Windows.
a time when there wasn't many games like that. And I think over the years that has grown. People latched onto that. When I talk to developers and I talk to fans around the world, they always hark back to their first experiences playing Tomb Raider, and it touched them and it was something special.
It was also linked to the movie, so I feel like the story was even more powerful than any other thing back then.
And I begged my mom for a console. I begged her. And it wasn't until the N64 came out that she finally gave in.
Moving on to the PlayStation and the Nintendo 64, you started to see 3D for the first time.
What that allowed the vision of Mr. Miyamoto to do was to say, now that I have the ability to manipulate polygons in real time at a fast enough frame rate, then instead of just going back and forth, now I can run around in circles or move into or out of the screen. So it brought a whole new dimension to the gameplay. And the controller was actually designed with an analog joystick to be able to control that movement.
It started to add a whole new dimension into what gamers were used to. And so for a long time, it had been this 2D, sort of parallaxing 2D planes. But as you sort of moved into that 3D era, you started to see people start to play with, you know, what are the kinds of mechanics we can do now? What are the things that we can actually play with? You know, what are these new, what's this new world of this other dimension? And so, you know, it was painful at first. Certainly there were good examples of it, but it was hard. You know, it's hard to give the players this whole nother level of freedom that they weren't used to.
And then we started getting consoles that were bigger and better, and you could bring in, you know, more of a 3D environment, better frame rate and better sound, and then you could put more polygons on the screen so the guys could look, you know, more realistic.
Finally, with the PlayStation and the PlayStation 2, you started to see some really interesting stuff happening. You started to get, you know, avatars on screen that were more representative of people. It was easier to understand, you know, what they were trying to make you go through. Especially on the PlayStation 2, it started to feel like we have enough graphics to really render interesting people. You know, they weren't real, but they were real enough, and so you can start to believe in them more.
I had grown the PC business pretty well. And was starting to look at the console business and thinking, wow, that would be a nice business for us to be in, but we really didn't know anything about it. And then one day these guys walked into my office. They were from the DirectX team, and they said they had this idea to put DirectX into a box. There was going to be this DirectX box, and DirectX is the name of the Windows API for gaming. So this DirectX box was basically, it was going to act like a game console on the outside, but on the inside it was really going to be a PC running Windows and DirectX. That was the original plan. And so what I think we didn't really understand is, at the time, was that we were really bridging these two worlds. That Xbox was going to be this bridge between what was happening in PC gaming culture and what was happening in console gaming culture.
And then when we got to the PlayStation 3, we really said, okay, this thing's going to give us enough power to really go back and revisit that idea of telling an interesting character-driven narrative in a way that we might be able to do that no one's done before.
First time that I held a Wii controller, it was a piece of plywood with some electronics taped onto it, and they had a demo of a tennis game, and when I first picked it up and started playing it, I thought, this is going to be a hit. That was the first thing that popped into my head. It was just so much fun.
The Xbox 360 is a spectacular console. It's just fantastic. I absolutely love it. And I like the PS3 as well. Not really interested in, you know, the holy wars about which one is better.
I guess they're fanboy arguments is how you could say it. Like, I like Nintendo, I like Sega, I like Sony. You know, I think this is actually what happens, because when I was a kid, I would have had a Genesis and a Super Nintendo, you know. I would have had a Nintendo and a Sega Master System if I could have afforded it. But, you know, you're a child, you can't afford all that stuff. So then you start defending the one you have, and I think that's where that comes from, you know. Xbox, no, PlayStation.
I still, to this day, stay up till 4 in the morning playing the latest Xbox 360 that came out yesterday or whatever it may be. I'm, you know, always constantly still immersing myself in it.
Hi, Subham. Hi, Noko. Nancy. How are you? I'm fine. Thank you very much. We are watching this movie documentary type. It's very, very interesting, I think, and very useful to know. Like, if you're passionate about games, why not knowing what was before, you know, Minecraft and all this popular stuff. So yeah, hope you are also enjoying it. And by the way, how are you?
Waves of technical and artistic changes sweeping over the industry, and games getting better and bigger, the video game industry began to anchor itself within the public consciousness. Many starting to argue that games are as much an art form as anything.
The trouble is with art is it's a subjective term. You know, one person's art is another person's rubbish, and this is where you come back to the semantics of the word art, which is problematic. Whether that is a film, or whether that is a book, or whether that is a painting, or whether that is a computer game, it elicits a response. It makes you think about the world or look at the world in a slightly different way.
I've always believed that games are absolutely an art form. You know, as Phil Fish said, it's the culmination of every form of art and expression that man.
I'm also good documentary. Did you watch it? Or it's the first time?
Mankind has ever had goes into a game.
You look at the staff that builds a video game, you have a music composer, you have a writer, you have an artist who does sketch work, you have a technical artist, you have level designers who create spaces, much like architects. It really is kind of the Avengers of talent when you really think about it.
Nowhere is it more obvious than in video games. You have these artists creating these beautiful three-dimensional worlds, and the technology allowing players to come into those worlds and have them be as real as possible is the ultimate example of art and science working together.
Best description of art I ever heard from a professor of mine when I was going for my MFA was that art is somebody who's put together something that deliberately provokes a response in an audience. The consumer actually is a participant in the art. It's almost like being part of a great art experiment, about a living art experiment.
Yeah, there's a lot of like basic logistics, like you push X and this happens, or you push up and that happens. But if that's all games were, we wouldn't be playing them anymore. You know, we would have lost interest a long, long time ago.
Surprisingly, modern game technology is still based on the same fundamental concept of early game tech, combining new layers of science and art to reach higher levels of innovation and expression.
It's just the audio.
Graphics, but also the utilization of parallel data processing and memory within the cloud. What does all that mean? Simply put, it means from here on out, anyone will be able to play any game, anywhere, at any time, with amazing speed and quality.
The cloud is something that you hear a lot about these days, and there's really two very different concepts. The first one is the one that we all sort of understand as being the cloud. You know, I've got a picture, I want to upload it, I want to tweet. This is all being uploaded into the cloud and stored on hard drives. So think of the normal version of the cloud as a lot of storage space. There's another very, very big idea, which is why not use the computers in the cloud to give you computing power that's far beyond what you would generally want to purchase for yourselves. And what that means is that the software that you would love to experience will be running there, and then the video or the output from the game is delivered directly to wherever you are on whatever device you're on.
There's more processing power in the cloud behind Xbox One than the complete processing power that was on the planet in the year 1999.
Jesus.
But we're now able to put scenes on screen that are almost beyond lifelike in some ways. But then you have the power of the cloud behind that box that allows us to draw upon thousands of servers to help make the box that's in your home actually significantly more powerful than it is by itself.
But there was a time when the future of this now mega industry was in serious jeopardy. After the explosive financial and cultural success of the first generation of video games, the industry began to think it was invincible.
You know, when all these companies saw that there was a market for video games, and they just, you know, this flooded the market with so many games. You know, there were a few companies out there that really wanted to show that they have a really awesome game, but then there were, you know, for every one really awesome game, there were 100 really crappy games.
What happened was there was this manufacturing of great expectations that the next Christmas would be better than the previous one, and people just sort of moved on. People got tired of being sold the same thing again and again with pretty poor entertainment experience.
People started to produce games at a kind of very accelerated rate, and the quality of the gameplay went down substantially, to the point of where some of the games were so bad that they ended up having to throw a lot of them in landfills.
With scores of new game developers springing up overnight and venture capitalists pouring money into what seemed to be a sure-thing product, the writing was on the wall. The market was becoming saturated, and in 1983, the final nail was driven home. Atari made a deal with Universal Studios to create a video game adaptation of the popular movie E.T. the Extraterrestrial.
Hi, which console do you prefer? Ooh, good question. And now we are gonna talk a lot. So I've only owned a Nintendo DS console. That was it. I've never had an Xbox. I've never had a PlayStation because I've always used to play games on my computer. I wasn't really that invested into a console because all my cousins had them. So every time I used to meet with my cousins, which all happened to be boys, like I don't know any girl that was passionate about consoles. But anyway, this was a parenthesis. So the thing is, it was also a battle between, hold on, I hope you can hear me. A battle between Nintendo DS and PSP. If you know that one, that was also great. I had a friend that, yay, PC gang, yes. I had a friend that owned the PSP, and every time we met, I gave him my Nintendo and he gave me his PSP. And hold on, maybe I can switch the screen. And every time we talked, we were like, your console is better than mine. No, your console is better than mine. But the thing is, he also had more games than me. I think I had only 4 games at that time on my Nintendo. My mom just bought it as a gift for me because she saw I'm very passionate about games in general. So yeah. Now comparing PlayStation with Xbox, that's a very tough and hard question. The first time ever I played Minecraft on a console, it was an Xbox 360 and GTA 5, I think. So 10 years ago or something like that. I really liked it. I really liked the controller. Then I had a chance to play on a PlayStation 3 1 year later. I also like that experience. GTA 5 again, I think. I thought PlayStation was a bit smoother than than Xbox. I don't know why I feel like Xbox has always been a classic to me. I'm more nostalgic when I say Xbox because maybe if you guys remember, there was the Stampy Cat. I think that was the name of the guy that used to record Minecraft on his Xbox, and a lot of YouTubers, I feel like, used to play Minecraft on Xbox 360. So that was for me. That was basically Minecraft for me. And then PlayStation, a lot of Mortal Kombat, Forza Horizon. I think I also played it once on PlayStation. It's very hard to decide, honestly. It's just like comparing Samsung with iPhone, right? It's a different system, but there's still the same kind of outcome. So not a lot of differences in between. I'm also curious about your opinion, so let me know in the comments what do you think. What else? I'm still in love with my Nintendo. Like imagine when was the COVID situation and we had to stay inside a lot. I just bumped into online shops and found a lot of games for my Nintendo DS console, and that's literally where I used to. I had Xbox 360. It was astonishing. I really love Xbox. Yeah. Good old days. I really miss that time. Like the first time I've ever played on a console, or I don't know, the energy and the reaction that you have after something like that is very interesting. All of them are good, but Nintendo is better, and Animal Crossing. Yeah, I don't know if Nintendo is necessarily better. It's definitely my favorite. It really is. As I told you, I really loved PSP as well. I've never had it. I just used to play a lot on my friend's PSP at that time. But yeah, what I had was Pokemon Pearl version, and a game with dogs, Super Mario Kart, stuff like that. Classics, I would say. I was very, very into Lego when I was a child, but not like necessarily games. I was like physically Lego physical version. And what I began to say was that during 2020, when we had to stay inside a lot, I bought a lot of games, a lot of games for Nintendo, but like Lego. For example, I bought Indiana Jones, I bought Batman, Lego versions. What else? I also bought Cars, if you know the movie Cars. There's also a game, not Lego version, that was normal one, Brave. It's my favorite Disney princess. So I was like, I really want to have that game. New movie trailer just dropped. Minecraft movie, it's hilarious. Yes, I watched it yesterday. Hold on, let's go and watch it just a bit, okay? Because it was so funny. Literally, with Jason Momoa, I was like, what is this? Thank you very much for reminding me though, because I wanted to talk with you about it. I forgot.
Wanting when you go watch movies
No,
because
shut up. Okay. It was so the thing is I can barely type. I'm only using one hand. I can use this one. This is the maximum level I can lift it up. I don't think you can see, but it's like, yeah, reduce the audio of trailer or live might get down. Oh, why? Did I receive any copyright? Hold on. Yeah, I'm thinking about it, but this is why I'm always muting it. Hold on. Of trailer, you mean of the Minecraft trailer? Okay, yeah, sure thing. Thank you very much for reminding me, Shubham. Just 1 second. Oh, I hope you get well soon. Yeah, it's not really the best moment, but I really missed doing live stream, so. The Beatles, Jesus Christ. Yeah, take your time typing. Step right away. Listen, let's discuss this one. So I hope I answered your question about consoles. I know it's a topic that is never ending. You can talk about consoles and games and good old days for hours and not stopping. So what I really like is the environment. The way the environment looks, in my opinion, it's the best part of this movie, I have to say. Because it's a very interesting combination of real life and Minecraft. So for me, this is the best part. But when it comes to actors, I feel like for me, that I'm 20 years old, feels like it's way too cartoonish. Oh, hold on, I forgot to change the screen, right? Wait, yeah. There we are. I was talking about this one. I'm sorry, guys. You probably didn't see. Yeah. So I was talking about this one. This environment. Actor took me out of Moby. Yeah, I don't have anything with Jason Momoa. I feel like he's a funny guy. Not my favorite, but I don't know, man. It's just, yeah, it's so off. If they can somehow manage to use actors that look like the environment, but because I feel like they're way out of place. It's like creating a I don't know, a sketch or something like that, using a lot of Adobe effects, and you can see that it's edited. Like, I don't want to see that big contrast when it comes to actors, right? It's just my opinion. I'm also curious about yours. Drop it in the comments. But yeah, I don't know what to say anymore. It's just 100% I'm gonna watch it because it's my childhood. So yeah, maybe we can create like a movie reaction. I don't know. Yes, you did answer my question. Thank you for your feedback. You're very welcome. Thank you for asking me this. It's very interesting. So, hold on. Let's talk a bit more about what's going on here. I don't know this guy. I just know Jason Momoa. That's the only guy I know. She looks familiar. I don't know where is she from. I also like the portal, like the environment. As I said, it's great. The ship is very interesting. For me, how is it for you guys? Do you like it? For me, it's interesting. It's funny. It's probably be like Minecraft funny moments or something like that. See, like they're not matching the background. This is also interesting. Ship to. It's also interesting, a bit too weird though. I also like this shot. This concept of crafting, okay, maybe. Let's say this is not the worst part of it. I've told you already the worst part of it. It's double. That's interesting. The way the block. Yeah, the ship is really funny. Yeah. I like that. The thing that after you destroy a block, it's tiny, it's sweet. Steve's lava chicken. Yeah, this is okay. Feels like, I don't know, it's someone inside wearing a costume, but the creeper, listen, the creeper, I don't really like the creeper in the movie. Like what I saw here, this looks like a person wearing a costume. For real. They could have contributed 10 more minutes to costumes. 10 more minutes? Or what does mean stand for? This is Steve, right? Do you know, guys? I mean, hold on, I'm not gonna ask you. You know how Steve looks like. You know, right? There's this part right here. This tiny little part. And then, what is this triangle? What is this triangle? Come on. It should have been better. If you search for a costume on Amazon, I bet it's more accurate than that t-shirt. For real. Or maybe it's just my opinion. And even the bird. Hold on. See? It's like here it has this part. Why does he have this white bird right here? To show us that it's an old movie? We know how old is Minecraft. You don't necessarily have to tell us in our face. See, this is how old Steve is. It's fine, we know that. Anyway, it's just my opinion. Maybe I'm just a bit too much of a hater, but yeah. I'm Steve. Okay. Huh. Do we have sound?
Okay.
Why so? Okay, I'm not gonna. Actor playing Steve is my favorite, but he's not getting there. Yeah, I mean, the guy that plays Steve, it's funny. When he wants, this guy, then where's the shadows? The shadows? What shadows? You mean here? He's funny when he wants to. I hope he's not gonna be cringe, but I mean, what can we say? I also like this one. This reminds me of hold on. Let me see. So I think like this. Yes, this was the name. Story mode on the sky, like the logo. If you can, oh, there it is. But they see. This reminds me of story mode, kind of vibe, like the vibe is from that one. I also like this one. Like this shot is perfect. Keep it like this. I bet Minecraft would be way funnier if they would just remove the actors and keep the environment. Budget so low they forgot shadows, literally people standing in front of green screen. Oh. Oh, I see. Yeah. I feel like I talked so much about this. You guys give me an idea, maybe. Oh, hold on. I have exam tomorrow, so bye. Hi, Archbase, and bye at the same time. Good luck tomorrow. You will 100% gonna pass it. Thank you for stopping by and telling me this. It's good karma. Right? You will pass your exam. I'm 100% sure. What is it though? Programming or what exactly? By the way, guys, I'm thinking now, should I make a video about the trailer? Like reacting to the trailer, but it's pretty much the same opinion. It's not like I'm gonna act different for the video. Maybe I can just cut this part of the live stream. Hello, Mr. Kim Bicha, and welcome. How are you? So yeah, maybe I can cut that part of the trailer and post it as a video. I don't know. Good luck, mate. Hider. Environment looks cool. Yeah, the only thing I really like about the movie. Good luck, mate. All the best. Yes, all the best. Well, I liked it because, you know, I support Minecraft. Minecraft, it's always gonna have a special place in my heart. So yeah, now maybe we can. Do you guys want to get back to the movie? Or is there anything interesting that deserves a reaction? Let me know. We just watched half of it, half of like half an hour.
Only from Atari. Made especially for systems from Atari. The video game that lets you help E.T. get home. Just in time for Christmas. Happy holidays.
Wow. And now,
With only 5 weeks to make...
and now there's Coca-Cola that wishes us Merry Christmas every year. Little Nightmares 3 trailer deserves your reaction, please. Okay. This is gonna become a very interesting live stream as always. Please tell me it's not horror, but I mean, anyways, Little Nightmares 3 trailer, there we go. Why did I... Oh, hold on. Game, I think is... Which one? Announcement trailer or gameplay overview trailer? I feel like this is too much. This one, I think, right? Okay. I really like the vibe already. I like the colors. 2 weeks. 2 weeks, 1. 2 weeks, 1. What do you mean 2 weeks, 1? Oh. Ah, this one. Okay.
Low.
Yeah, I'm just a bit concerned about the copyright.
Atmosphere. We are very excited to have the game playable at Gamescom this year, but for all of
I really like the visuals. When it comes to that, it's great. I don't know the gameplay at all, but the colors and the vibe, it's nice. I'm already part of the story, so
you that can't be here,
good job
we
for
wanted
that.
to give you a sneak peek at our demo, as well as some exclusive footage.
This reminds me of Sky, the Children of the Light,
Little
the
Nightmares 3
game that we used to play, so...
tells the story
yeah.
of Flo and Alone, two friends trapped within the spiral, a cluster of disturbing places.
The best lighting and environment game. Yeah, it looks nice. I can...
It will have to work...
So this is 2D, right? Or it's gonna become 3D? See, this is also an interesting part. It starts like a 2D game, but right now it feels like they are going too far from me. So I don't know if it's gonna become a 3D game or it's still a 2D game. Hi, this game really looks astonishing. Where can I download it? I don't know either. Ham, it's 3D completely. Ooh, so just the part of the story. Okay, that's nice. Little Nightmares 3, I don't know where you can download it. I think it's on Steam. It should be on Steam, right? Is it? Or maybe it's not launched yet. Yeah, it's on... Oh, initial release date. There you go. You can add it to your wish list. Release date 2025. Add it to your wish list. I'm not paid. You guys told me to react
work
to this, so
together
yeah.
to survive in this dangerous world full of delusions and escape the nowhere.
Interesting.
While Little Nightmares 3
this?
is still playable in solo with an AI, you'll also be able to play with a friend in online co-op and face your childhood fears together.
Oh, okay, that's interesting. Watch the short trailer, you will get the idea. Thank you, you're welcome. Okay, let's move to the other one. Yeah, I feel like 5-6 minutes almost is a bit too much for a game. You can say everything in 2 minutes. If you can say everything in 2 minutes, it's either way too good or way too bad. I really like it. The characters are also very interesting. And it's with puzzles and stuff like that, I think. I thought it's horror, but I don't think it's like a scary game. Oh. Hopefully not. Oh wow. Horror puzzle? Interesting. Okay, it's pretty cool. Yeah, thanks for telling us, Shubham. It's really interesting. You can add it to your wishlist, guys. Maybe I can play it one day, who knows, but I'm not that much into horror games. I just get very easily scared, so yeah.
The game, Atari scrambled to put out a subpar product.
My favorite series? Interesting.
Confident and high on their previous success, in the fall of 1982, Atari shipped millions of ET cartridges despite its poor quality. The backlash was legendary. It caused a ripple effect throughout the entire games industry, and by the summer of 1983...
It's not horror, emotional story every time. Ah, okay. Then we might give it a try.
Consumer confidence in video games had reached an all-time low, and Atari, along with many other rising game companies, went down like the Titanic.
No, I don't want to copyright. Hold on. I'm sorry to skip all these amazing visuals, but yeah.
Became a lot of conflict and the whole management style blew up, and Warner basically took over. They put their man in, Ray Kassar, who was from the East Coast, no experience in entertainment, in games, technology, or Silicon Valley. And he just didn't really understand or play games. So when you're that way, it's really hard as a president to really assess the quality of what's going on. It was that kind of attitude, you know, and creating terrible product that was driven by advertising and marketing and not by any content. And guess what? It didn't sell.
The one story about E.T.'s cartridges being buried in the desert is actually a true one. The fact that Atari rushed this game just to have it out with the movie, to use the license of E.T., because E.T. was huge in the 80s.
Both the E.T. and the Pac-Man games, those were two of the games that didn't do well. And they were trying to cram something into the Atari 2600 that it did not want to do.
The big crash happened in '83, and toy stores were unloading consoles for next to nothing.
Everybody just thought they could schlock any sort of games onto the system, and it was the first lesson that the industry learned in the fact that the consumers are smart, especially gamers, and you can't just put shovelware out there and fool them. They will not buy it.
But after the crash, they realized that, you know, for a lot of people it had been a fad, but for a core group of people, they still wanted to play games.
For a couple of years after the crash, many people thought that American video games would be relegated to the popular fads section of 21st century encyclopedias and forgotten. Enter Nintendo, a Japanese toy company who understood that the popularity of classic games like Pac-Man, Donkey Kong, and Pitfall proved that people like to play as a character, not just a spaceship or nameless block of pixels. Even with the crudity of the early 8-bit graphics, the concept of immersion and being a character was still very appealing to the public. And little did the world know, their favorite video game character was just around the corner.
Oh my god.
This is Nintendo, a flashy little computer that lets you play video games on your TV set.
This is called Game Boy, and industry analysts say that there may be a run on this as the holiday demand exceeds the supply.
This is Super.
I don't know about you guys, but one of my dreams is literally to have a collection with all the consoles. Yeah, like just like we saw in this documentary, Nintendo Time. Yeah, it's my favorite, literally. Imagine having a room full of consoles and retro games. Like for me, that's a big deal. I would love to have something like that at some point. And you know, I'm very sad because I was just thinking that one time, I mean, in 2020, I sold. So I received for free a PlayStation 2 with a lot of games, and I sold it for a camera that records in 360 degrees. So it's very interesting. It's like this little circle, and you can see everything in that. So I don't know if this was the best deal. I mean, for the price, it was great. Like that camera was pretty expensive, and I got it, as I said, for free because I literally sold. I changed. I didn't like sold the PlayStation, but I just changed. I gave the PlayStation and I got a camera, so that was the deal. Okay, Game Boy must have been a bit hit. Yeah, back in the days, for real.
Super Mario 3, it's been a long-awaited game. Super Mario, of course, was very, very popular. Super Mario 2 was extremely popular. Now Super Mario 3 is coming out.
It's been the best-selling toy in this country for 3 years running. 20 million of these things now inhabit American living rooms. Inhabit is a very good word.
Because of the crash, no retailer wanted to touch a quote-unquote video game system. And so a lot of what we did was try to come up with something that was uniquely different. It wasn't just a game system, it had other features to it. And eventually we came up with Rob, the robotic operating buddy, and the zapper gun and 2 cartridges. And we sold it as an entertainment system. Even with that, it was a hard sell to get the retailers to take it, but it was fairly successful. And during that first initial phase, Super Mario came out, and that sold like hotcakes. That was an extremely successful title.
Nintendo Entertainment System was, I think, a big landmark system, because before that, there was a big question mark about whether or not video games were going to be able to stay popular. There's the big video game crash, and then Nintendo showed us how we can bring them back and make them really popular again.
I remember seeing Super Mario Brothers for the first time and just being completely blown away. It was like, wow, there's an arcade in my house. This is the coolest thing ever.
And Mario Brothers was great, and Zelda was great, and so I put a lot of hours.
I've never played any kind of Zelda, and I'm still questioning if I should, because a lot of you guys were huge fans of it. So maybe it's something like, I don't know, talk about nostalgia. Super Mario 3. Yeah. Hi, did you watch the Super Mario movie? I didn't. Should I? It's in my watch list, but I haven't watched it. Should I give it a try?
As a player into those early Nintendo games. I love those early Nintendo games.
I saw the Nintendo Entertainment System and said, wow, this is new, unique, different, bringing new experiences to the consumer. I saw the original Mario Brothers and said, wow, this is new, this is different. The same for the original Legend of Zelda.
So after the video game...
Please try Legends of Zelda Breath of the Wild. Okay. Okay, I think you also told me about it in the past, if I'm not mistaken.
Crash, I kind of fell out of love with games for a while and just ignored them. And then one day, a neighbor kid down the street, I go over to his house, and he has this gray box with this Rob the Robot, and he has the zapper gun, and we're playing this duck hunt game, and then he fires up the Super Mario game, and I was like, okay.
It's always that neighbor or that cousin that has the console, and you are going there, you're like, hey buddy, what are you doing? He's like, oh, I'm obsessed with this game. And you're like, what is that? let me give it a try. And then you are absorbed, you are obsessed, you become, I don't know, you forget your name, you forget where you're from, what's your age. You just sit there and you are teleporting yourself into a new world. At least that's how I felt every time I was seeing a console back then.
Hey, this is some next level stuff. And I remember the first time that I jumped and I hit a block that was there that I didn't know was there, one of the secret blocks with an extra life in it. My mind just exploded because, like, here are secrets in games now.
Rising. The appetite for simple maze-based games was waning. Gamers were ready for more. Becoming a character, living out a virtual story, and being absorbed in something otherworldly was not just technically possible now, but the expectations for deeper, more immersive experiences was growing.
Mario 3 addict, say less, cousins console helps.
As the game business evolved, people were making...
Please watch it. It is out of this world. Hold on, you mean Super Mario movie, right? Is it on Netflix? I think it's on Netflix right now, right? Super Mario movie. Let's see. Yes, it's on Netflix. Okay, this one, I think, right? Okay, then I might give it a try.
Larger and more complicated games.
Do you mean trailer? No, he means the movie, I think. Or the trailer. Hold on, you want me to watch the trailer or the movie itself, right?
Requiring 30-page manuals and 80 hours of gameplay to get into.
You never really cared about the characters in Gauntlet, you know, it was just that Gauntlet was an addictive game. But now we not only spend more money on games, but we see them as entertainment mediums where we want to be invested in the story, we want to be invested in the world.
The huge difference is that the older games, I think, were a lot tougher. Like, if you did not get your jump exactly right to land on a platform, you were not getting through that level. Timing was everything. Now you have a lot more freedom. You can kill a boss many different ways.
It used to be before that the whole point of a game was literally shooting pixelated aliens that were falling out of the sky, but we didn't know why those aliens were falling out of the sky. We didn't care why those aliens were falling out of the sky. We just wanted to shoot them. But nowadays, not only do we know why those aliens are falling out of the sky, we know the names of their moms, and we know their future children's names, and we know we have to destroy all of them.
I feel like games, as they've developed throughout time, have kept a lot of the same traits. They've just sort of manipulated how they act in the game world because people have different desires for games. They want to be more involved. They don't want to just sit down and, you know, sit at a bar for a little while and play Pong. They want to actually be invested in that game world a little more.
In the beginning, it was simply the industry understanding what are these mechanics? How do players interact with an interactive medium? As we started to understand those rules a little bit better, other aspects of crafting something really, really high-end or beautiful get worked in. And so high-end graphics start to become more relevant because we're, you know, learning how visuals interact with the storytelling and interact with the gameplay.
In those days, the game designer's main job was to create the rules of a game. That is all. It was very much like chess or cards. In the 90s, with PlayStation and more powerful technology arriving, we had the gift of expression. Games became 3D. Characters could talk. Music could be created. Characters could emote through detailed facial expressions.
In the late 80s, a new talent. A renaissance in game design was arriving, which not only gave birth to some of the greatest video games of all time, but eventually a new industry that would generate billions of dollars and a new generation of game designers.
I had a Sony Ericsson, and I don't know how. My dad somehow put a lot of games on it. We had literally like 100 games. I think my dad was also very passionate about games, even though we haven't really talked about the passion itself, but we've been talking about games for years. For example, my dad was very, very passionate about Need for Speed and Fast and Furious and stuff like that, like all the cars. And I also used to play a lot of car games. So if you wanna race with me one day, prepare. I mean, first let me fix my hands. And then, yeah. Oh, I think I know that one. Diablo. My uncle used to play Diablo. All of them, I think. Wouldn't it be interesting if you talk to your dad about games? It will be. It will be very interesting if I will ever have the chance to create a video on YouTube with him, but I don't think he wants to appear, honestly. You know, I don't know why, but maybe even for you, like for our generation, it's okay to appear on YouTube, on Instagram, on social media platforms. So we don't really care about that much. But when it comes to our parents, it's like, no, privacy. We have to protect it. For us, we are more, I don't know, open to show ourselves. Why is only my dad who thinks it's a waste of time? No, hold on. Now all my, I mean, my mom also thinks that. My mom is a teacher, so you can probably imagine how against games she was. And when she first met my dad used to play, as I told you, racing games and racing cars and stuff like that. And she was like, you know what, whatever. If you have fun, just do it. I don't care anymore. And my dad even had like hold on, let me show you. 1 second. I'm just gonna type it in my language, and maybe we can see it. Just give me 1 minute. Yeah, he had exactly. He had something like this with all of them. Kind of similar. We don't have this thing anymore. I don't know why or who. He gave it to someone else, I think. But yeah. Anyways, I'm sorry. I'm just talking about my parents. I don't know what's going on. Wait, I forgot about the music. Oh no! No, we don't want copyright. Let's go. Huh. What's this? If your culture doesn't like Bill Gates. Oops.
Students at Stanford University's Artificial Intelligence Laboratory got the idea to convene the very first intergalactic space war Olympics with the use of the computer lab's very own PDP-10. Contestants fought it out on the machine's, at the time, impressive 10-inch raster display. 2 events were held, a 5-man free-for-all and a team competition. In Space War, 5 distinctly rendered vessels nicknamed Pointy Fins, Roundback, Birdie, Funny Fins, and Flatback battled to the death in the display's circular arena, dominated by a star whose gravitational pull drew them to the center. This was the very first video game tournament and the beginning of a community that would soon become a culture.
Way to Mortal Kombat. Wow.
In my dorm room, we would throw cables over the balcony down to other people's computers and start these kind of homebrew LAN competitions where we were playing all kinds of games, from shooters to RTSs to anything that we could just play together.
Doom was like a bomb dropped on my 20s. I lived in a house with a bunch of other geeks, guys that I used to play Dungeons and Dragons with, and we first got Doom and built like a LAN in our house, and we had kind of network cable going from each room. And oh my God, that was all.
I played it. Yeah, I played it on that Sony Ericsson. I don't know how, I've told you, how he got all the games, but we had like, wait a sec, I will show you. Sony. Maybe I can actually find Sony Ericsson Doom. Let's see. Who knows? Is it? Oh. Yeah. Yeah, exactly like this. I don't know if the phone is the same though, but yes, my memory it's still here. Oh, exactly this one. This was the phone. This was the phone. Literally. Almost like this. Without the Vodafone logo out there. But yeah. Interesting. Have you heard about LAN championships tournaments? So many cables and it's literally a party. I think I did at some point, yeah.
All we did for like the next year, I could swear, was just play Doom and Doom 2, 4 players. And just something about like blowing your friend in half and then hearing him in the next room like curse at you, like nothing is more satisfying.
Growing up in America, the one place you go is the mall. I was like that as a child, and I remember there was an arcade at the mall near our house called the Dream Machine, and it was this.
You know what I'm thinking about? What if you will build something like that nowadays? Like you will have a room, I mean a public space of course, dedicated to the good old days with all the games and stuff. People can come in, play, and then I don't know, spend as many instead of having like the newest smart TV out there and playing PlayStation or Xbox nowadays, having that arcade machine and playing the old Pac-Man, wouldn't it be interesting? Do you think it's gonna work out, for example, or do you think people are not gonna be interested in that? I mean, I maybe not our generation. I mean, our generation is still okay. Maybe not younger generations. I don't know. Hi, which country are you in? So I am from Romania. Currently, I'm in Romania, but I'm studying in Belgium. So yeah.
Stygian cave of noise and all these portals to all these other worlds you could go in and out. You know, Mr. Do, Dragon's Lair, Joust, Centipede, Frogger, all of them. And every time a new game would show up, I would be around it and on it, and there would be crowds around it. And eventually to the point where, you know, fighting games became a thing later on, and you would literally go up and put your quarter next in line and try and take down that one kid who's kicking everybody's butt as Chun-Li.
There was a time period where kids in arcade games who could rule, like at Chuck E. Cheese or at the mall arcade or at the, you know, in my case a lot of time the bowling center, people.
Everyone's gonna be excited for a Pac-Man game, but only for 30 minutes. I mean, that's enough. If you get that feeling for 30 minutes, another person comes in, I mean, it's gonna work out. Even if you get a bit excited, like excited enough to spend, let's say, I don't know, €5 for 10 minutes or however, it's still gonna work out, I feel like.
Would crowd around you if you were owning a game.
A globe connects online, but has produced lifelong friendships, thriving communities, even marriages. And this community doesn't just exist for entertainment's sake. Gamers are not only one of the most connected and vocal groups, they're some of the most loyal. Friendships forged within a game experience somehow yield a bond that isn't easily broken.
I don't know what's going on with the subscriber bar, but it's not connecting anymore. Like, that's really going out of hand. I'm just gonna remove it for now. It's better.
One of the things that is really exciting about games in general is that they've evolved far beyond the local community aspect of being able to, you know, just play the game or enjoy your game with some of your local friends, whatnot, into truly global experiences that where you can share your passion with people all around the world.
I love the connectivity. I have lifelong friends that I've met online, and we started.
Depends upon customer return rate. Yeah, that's also true. But if it's somewhere located in a very touristical area, sort of like a center of a city that's pretty popular, and there are a lot of tourists, I think it's still gonna work out. It's something to think about. But that's my idea. Okay, don't steal that.
Started out just playing together and then ended up, meeting up for competitions or just meeting to go hang out and kind of actually meet each other in person. And it sounds silly, but a lot of those friendships are really solidified around that joint experience that you have while you're playing a game. And I think that's something special, right? It's something magical.
That's something I saw working, kind of the internet industry all through the 90s and the early aughts, was people who would meet other people online and become really enamored of them, and sometimes like move to another city to try living with this person, or people would get married or meet that way. And that's a whole new kind of human relationship that didn't exist 10 or 15 years ago. It's like a new thing. People can meet and fall in love and not have ever met in the real world.
Yeah.
I can't tell you how many stories we've gotten of people being, hookups because of it, and people eventually getting married because of the game. People that have gone through, some sort of horrible medical condition that they've had to deal with, and the game's kind of let them work through that.
I see that, deaths of key characters really affected people and made them cry in the game, or they got tattoos of the,
What do you think about virtual reality games? Ooh, I love your questions. When they first appeared, I was very excited and a bit scary, because I was like, oh my god, maybe this is gonna change the whole aspect of gaming. And then I wanted to try it. Proposal on Minecraft. Is it something you would fall for? Now, no. Back, 10 years ago, maybe. So yeah. I'm sorry, it's too late. So back to the virtual reality games. Yeah, I got very interested in roller coasters and all this stuff, like exploration. Maybe this is why right now I'm also that involved into exploration and survival sort of games. Of course, I discovered it at one of my friends. They first bought a pair of VR glasses, and I had the chance to play a lot of free games from Google Play, because he literally bought it when he was abroad, when they first appeared. So we had only like 5 games on Play Store. That was pretty much it back then. So one with a roller coaster, one with something underwater, one with a cave, I think. So yeah, that was the vibe back then. I really like the part of exploration and look around, but when it comes to movements and actually walk somewhere, I get very scared, because I'm like, I don't know if I might hit a wall, something else. I'm just gonna fall and break my. You can see the state I'm in right now, so I don't want to break anything else, any bone. It's enough. I also had this broke like 10 years ago, so broken, sorry. So yeah, I don't want that anymore. The thing is, so that's the history of VR games. But right now, what I think about them is that Zuckerberg is working a lot on the metaverse and all this stuff. And it's just like artificial intelligence. We don't know that much yet, but I feel like at some point, suddenly, someone is gonna drop the news. Hey guys, this is what we did. Give it a try. And then the whole world is gonna switch and is gonna try that out. And there's maybe gonna be a revolution in gaming again. Who knows? I don't know. I'm not that huge fan of it. I feel like it's more interesting to play it with your hands, and it requires more attention to use both of you, like, or maybe hold on, maybe it requires more attention to play VR games. But as I said, it's a bit dangerous, at least for me. To hit something, it's funny for those who are watching you from afar, but it's not funny for you. Like, imagine playing a horror game with that and you literally fall on the ground. Like, that's not the best experience out there. Let me know also what you think about it.
logo of the game on their bodies, or a man and his wife met on Xbox Live playing the game and now they play co-op every night.
There are kids out there who exist now because their parents met in World of Warcraft, video games have changed the course of human evolution to some degree, and created whole new mating rituals and ways of social interaction that didn't exist, and that's as a result of the internet and video games. So it's going to be interesting to watch all of that evolve. Video games are going to get more and more real and connect more and more people around the world.
I used to play EverQuest quite a lot, as many EverQuest players did. A guy that I met in South Korea, PvPing, we became friends. I ended up going to his wedding 10 years later. We're family friends now. And it's phenomenal because we had this shared passion for games. We had a lot of similar values and ideas, and we had a lot of great shared experiences online where we really formed a deep bond and true friendship, and has blossomed into a great, long-lasting friendship in the real world.
I saw someone recently speaking about a boy whose parents were killed in a car accident, so he was left alone in the world, and without video games to sort of fall back into, he'd be sitting in his room depressed out of his mind, and his video game world and all his friends in his video game world really supported him through that really painful time. And the guy who was observing this was basically saying, you guys don't really understand it, because I know you hear this all the time, that violent video games are the problem in the world, etc., etc. But the things, games are so meaningful to people, and they're such, the friends that they build around it, and the sort of the creativity and the immersion and everything else that comes with it is actually very valuable, and it's something you learn a lot from.
I walked into the stairwell here, and this shooting, I can't even really describe it, but I basically fell down the stairs because I had a stroke, as they later revealed to me. I ended up in the hospital.
Seems like games goes beyond just a virtual world. #friendship. Yeah, that's true. I mean, I really like this. I think, even you guys, even now, what I'm doing here today, we have a sort of a connection, right? Even though we don't know each other face to face, like physically, it's still a bit of a connection. I know your names pretty much. Your usernames, maybe not your real names, but yeah, I remember you. So it's not like I'm talking to strangers. No, every time I'm live, I'm talking to the guys I know. So yeah.
Hospital for about 9-10 days, and you're really scared, and you really don't know where to then you're like sad, and you have all this anger, and you don't know where to aim it. And my friends started bringing stuff up to me, and at first it was food, and then they started bringing ways to play games up. I got a little Nintendo DS, and I was playing Zelda on that, and I had a laptop, and I was playing, I had Steam on there, and I had just TF2 and Left 4 Dead and Borderlands, and and that really was the turning point at the hospital, where I wasn't as scared, I guess, anymore. I wasn't as mad. I had something to do. Because part of the stroke that was awful was I went blind out of my right eye.
Can you believe
and
it's hurt him? Jesus. Wow. You know what I did? I told you I sat in my bed for 2 weeks straight, and the only thing that I played was Clash Royale. Why? Because I can play it with one hand. I'm not allowed to hold anything in my hands, not even a paper. The doctor told me it's not okay to do that. It's not recommended. So I just keep my phone in one hand and place the cards with one hand in Clash Royale. That's pretty much what I used to do. So yeah.
It's sort of crazy how not just the games in the hospital that really got me through it. It's been everyone around me in this industry, like in all different companies in all different states. So yeah, in a very literal way, I think video games really did kind of save my life.
That's sweet.
The world is now engulfed in an artistic, social, and technological revolution like never before. Interactive entertainment is the ultimate expression and delivery format, but who will determine what stories are told and how we will experience them in the future? The answer is simple. Have a limitless capacity for wonder, imagination, and creativity. And they aren't afraid to fail.
When I learned history in school, it was the most boring. It was old books with black and white images in them. And I saw a girl in a video recently from Carnegie Mellon that was talking about trebuchets, which is this old medieval siege weapon. But she had actually experienced using one because, of course, she'd done it in a virtual world. And to have, I think she was 6, so have a 6-year-old girl telling you her opinion of medieval siege weapons versus my version of it, which was so incredibly boring, is a fundamental change to education through entertainment that can make history and things like that much more engrossing.
My kid, he is 12 and he is faster at things that I'm not as fast at. He is better at things, and it's because while his mind was developing,
And it's because Minecraft.
he had access to interactive media that was much more advanced than the interactive media that I had, and the interactive media that I had was the first time. My parents didn't have any interactive media when their brains were developing.
Video games, I think, they provide a space for learning how to fail safely and successfully. I think it's a
Angry Birds. Oh my god. Listen, I don't know about you guys, but before Minecraft, I was obsessed with Angry Birds. I had even a perfume. Who has a perfume with Angry Birds? Literally. Tell me, who has that? I had a perfume with Angry Birds. I had all the toys, like all the birds. I had even a game, like a plastic game, in which you had to destroy the buildings. Later on, I gave it for free to one of my friends. That was little. I mean, he is now he is 14 years old. So it was a 6-year difference. It's such a good video. Send me the link. Sure thing. Hold on. You know what I'm gonna do? Hold on. Let's watch it together now. And at the end of the live stream, I promise I will paste it in the description of the video. Is that okay? I mean, you can see it now. This is why I did it like this. But I'm gonna paste the link in the description. Right? Because I want you guys to watch it together with me.
culture. We have a real obsession with always getting things right. We're afraid of failing. But video games provide us this very safe space to learn how to problem solve, to think through an issue that we can't quite get right, to help us realize that it's okay to fall on our face occasionally if we learn from that and we eventually can succeed.
Because it's simulation, we can do things and experience things and practice things and test things that either aren't feasible or aren't safe in real life, in the real world.
I will not do this in real life.
Despite the term gamer still seemed to be a close cousin to geek or nerd. If you were a serious, dedicated gamer, you were seen as part of a strange subculture. But the winds of change were blowing, and this perception would soon shift. Being a gamer would soon be in vogue.
I can feel it burn. We're taking over.
Religious experience to stand in the middle of a esports stadium packed full of tens of thousands of players cheering for their favorite teams. It's just
year 2000. Legend was born.
awesome to
I was born in 2004.
see, because it's easy to doubt that type of passion would actually manifest in a physical environment, that people would pay hundreds of dollars or travel thousands of miles to come to these events to watch people play video games, and they do, and they love it.
I've always been kind of frustrated by the perception of video game nerdiness and things like that. From my career making games that feel like summer blockbusters and don't feel like, D&D basement games, to having the courage to put myself out there on camera and put on a clean shirt and kind of change that perception as well, to just evangelizing games overall, and to also evangelize the career. And so over the course of my 20+ year career in this business, I've always hoped that there's some kids out there who see a football player or astronaut, and they're like, yeah, that's awesome, but maybe video games, maybe that's where I want to be.
And there are a lot of people who message me or send me emails, and they are just miserable because
they're super lonely. They haven't found their friend group, you know? And I think that that's sort of like my mission, is to connect people and make people happy and give people friends, because I never had that growing up. I never had my nerd group.
I think that's how communities have really started up, is just being able to find people with similar interests. You know, when you're a kid, it's really only like if your next door neighbor played, but now we're all adults and have the ability to reach out and connect with someone else.
It's clearly a culture where everybody's having fun, everybody's got a smile on their face. They're living their life in a very, very, powerful way.
The old way of sort of, oh, computers are for geeks and stuff, and video games are for geeks, has died, is dead.
Yeah.
No one doesn't have Facebook. Angry Birds, people almost don't even think of that as a video game. People don't think of, become this blur of like, what is a video game and what isn't. Is Facebook a video game? I kind of think it is. I mean, it's interactive like a video game, and you can do.
I don't know if you guys saw this, but I saw like post on Instagram that said Subway Surfer, Temple Run, Angry Birds, what else? Pooh, and all these old games, old mobile phone games back then were replaced by the social media apps, right? So Subway Surfers is the new Snapchat. What else? Who is the new Facebook and so on. So yeah, maybe.
Stuff on it.
The world's really different now. And I think it's because those of us that grew up being ostracized and looked down upon and treated like we were radioactive by mainstream culture created our own culture, and we took the things that we love. We took the video games and we took the technology and we took the engineering and we built our own world out of those things. And that world is so awesome that the mainstream culture that made fun of us when we were kids for loving this culture that's so awesome could not deny it and could not help but be seduced by it.
Late Night with Jimmy in Rockefeller Center, the National Broadcasting Company presents Late Night with Jimmy Fallon.
Look at it, looks slick, come on. Well, it's the most powerful video game console ever made. We were targeting about 10 times the performance of any previous
10 times?
system. Yeah, 10
Really?
times. Yeah.
I didn't think you can get better than PS3, but you can 10 times, I guess.
We're gonna play this together. So this is Super Mario
so excited about
3D
this.
World.
Yeah. That's my man. I love Mario. I broke a sweat on that video game. Ladies and gentlemen, here's a professional actor reading the line, "It's a me, Mario," in a very dramatic way.
It's a me, Mario.
Hey, Conan O'Brien here. Once again, I know absolutely nothing about video games, which is why I've decided to review them.
Take a girl for a ride.
Oh my God. I've never licked a remote before. I look like John Tesh after he's been dead a year.
What did you just say?
I hate tombs.
Yeah, guess what? Then don't be a Tomb Raider!
No,
sorry. I meant to compliment her and I almost kicked her.
Action-packed fare appearing on game shelves, a new conversation started. Violence.
The world of home video games isn't holding back the violence. Mortal Kombat, 2 of the bloodiest games to date, were released yesterday.
This game encourages
I used
players
to play Mortal Kombat on the PSP one.
to shoot this gun, which is called a justifier.
Kids who play video games too often are more likely to be violent. That's the finding of a new study out of Japan's Tohoku University.
There was no rating on this game at all when the game was introduced.
Have a great. It's not really the fact that they became more violent, it's just the fact that they don't really realize the consequences. Because, you can respawn, you have another life, you're just like a cat in a game, so nothing bad can happen, police doesn't exist. So this is why they might do this, but I don't necessarily think it's just because they're violent and that's it. No, there are many other reasons behind.
Great deal of information that is racist, sexist, and
promotes models of violence. Recommendations on guns after that series of meetings, and as you mentioned, the latest with video game makers who said, don't blame us.
There's always a lot of media talking about violence in video games. And certainly there are violent video games, but that's not how you describe the medium of gaming.
If I were to go to the cinema and I were to just watch Saw movies, and I came away and you asked me what I felt about the cinema, I would say it was the most disgusting, violent, gratuitous thing. And that's what the media has done, is focused on a few titles, and that has ended up in consumers' minds.
I think the game rating is important, but not at the cost of complete censorship. Yeah, that's true.
Defining what this industry is.
It's weird how when you watch the people, you know, they go to Congress and they're angry, you know, our kids are being corrupted. I'm like, yeah, exactly, your kids. You should be not corrupting them. I leave them alone 10 hours a day. I mean, it's like finding your dad's Playboys under the bed and then blaming Playboy.
You know, we're just like any other industry that that we have these rating systems in place, and there's going to be something for everybody.
We put measures in place, ESRB, our guidelines. We make sure that we build our game to the rating. It gets checked on a regular basis.
The interesting thing, I think, with games is that we actually have an even better rating system than movies, but there's still kind of this general misunderstanding with the elder generation that somehow all games are like Grand Theft Auto.
People like to make just kind of a causal link and say video games cause violence. And it's like, well, let's see. So there's more crime in the summer and more ice cream is sold in the summer. Therefore, ice cream causes crime. That's not how legitimate scientific research works.
Yeah, exactly.
Violence, unfortunately, is a part of human nature. And last time I checked, Cain didn't bludgeon Abel with a Game Boy. Genghis Khan didn't have an Xbox Live account. And, you know, Hitler didn't play Crash Bandicoot.
We have unfortunately had a lot of gun crime in the United States recently. And I remember someone tweeted after one of the most recent incidences when people started accusing video games of being an influence for this.
You don't have someone to accuse of, you just accuse the video game itself, which I don't think is a good reason, honestly, at all.
They were like, wow, I wonder how all those other countries with the same
Because
exact...
if the game, imagine playing GTA, okay, maybe the game is bad, but why it's only one person that kills someone because of that game and the rest it's okay? Like, I think GTA has, I don't know, millions, billions of players maybe. Why we are all chill in real life and we just mess around in GTA, but we don't feel the need to do something bad in real life, right? So it's not because of the game, it's because of the, not even person, maybe the thoughts and the unsolved problems and traumas and stuff like that.
Video games as us don't have as much gun crime.
You know, it'd be like saying, we don't want anyone to go watch movies because all movies are violent. But people don't say that because, you know, everyone really understands movies as a medium.
I don't believe that video games are murder.
I think GTA was rated adult, hence can influence children. That's true, but come on. I just said earlier, I played GTA when I was around 8 years old and I was killing everyone in the game. Like, I wasn't an angel in GTA when I was a child, so, you know, yeah, it just depends. I don't know.
Simulators. If anything, what the statistics prove is that it's exactly the opposite.
We've survived a lot of things as gamers for a really long time. We've survived Congress, we've survived busybody parents, we've survived religious-based hysteria.
You realize that it's about imagination and invention and a connection to a world, and it doesn't have these big trappings that people apply to them. So I think it's a problem that's just going to naturally evolve away, and we just have to defend the industry until that evolution happens.
say
The
about
campfire. Tell a great
video
story.
games. I'm
Been
just
there.
curious.
Whether an actual campfire or just listening to someone tell a great story. As humans, we've always had the ability and desire to suspend our disbelief. If only for a few minutes a day, we want to escape from the treadmill of life and give it up, to be immersed in something outside ourselves.
We have this opportunity to be storytellers, to be able to give the consumer the opportunity to lose themselves in a world for as long or as little as they want. We have the realities of life every day, whether it's the economy or whether it's getting by or whether it's a job and earning money, but we have a medium that we can lose ourselves in.
Day-to-day life isn't always that exciting. And if at the end of the day you can turn on a tablet, a PC, a console, and just kind of escape into another world, I think it's a wonderful thing that essentially allows you to kind of live the dream.
The storytelling in games is just as good as movies. It's just as good as reading a book.
Coming into the 90s and early 2000s, games began another evolutionary step forward. Story. Changed the audience's expectations of what a good game really was and raised the bar for game designers everywhere.
Storytelling in games is a tricky beast to tame. As game makers, we have to set up rules. We have to set up universes that make sense and have their own sense of logic. And once we've established what that logic is, then we let the player's mind and imagination solve problems and work their way through those worlds.
I think one of the things we've really learned over the last maybe decade is ways to tell stories without a cutscene, without stopping the interactivity, to have the story be something that emerges from the play itself.
Video games are a lean forward experience, whereas film and television are a lean back experience.
Which game do you think is better, Assassin's Creed or Watch Dogs? I've only played Assassin's Creed, but like very, very old 2D version on my Sony Ericsson, so I don't have that much experience with them. As I've heard, Watch Dogs is more like GTA 5, and Assassin's Creed, I think, has a lot of stories in it. At least that's what I think. I don't know that much though, but let me know what's your opinion.
You're driving every moment of the game. A friend of mine a while back actually compared games to novels, and the fact that if you stop reading, the novel doesn't keep going, and video games are very much the same.
Telling a story in video games can be a lot more difficult, because then you have to anticipate the actions of the player. Whereas in a movie, you decide what both characters say, and then you write it down, and that's what they say.
Storytelling in games is an interesting problem right now because we don't fully understand it. The movie industry has been around for 100 years or whatever, and they have a really good idea of what it means to tell story in that kind of visual medium. And the game industry doesn't have all those rules yet.
Either reading a book or watching a movie, it's completely passive. You're letting the storyteller give you their vision of their world or whatever story they want to tell you, and you're listening to it. It's unfolding for you. You're not affecting that. With a game, the journey is the reward more than, say, the ending or the payoff.
This is our routine. Day and night, all we do is survive.
Oh, this is the
It never lets up.
Right? I've never seen it, but it's very popular. Both, like the game and
The idea of spontaneity within storytelling is something that's unique to video games. You can't just change how a song sounds midway through it. You can't just change the end of a book while you're reading it. But in certain games, your decisions have a direct outcome on the ultimate fate of characters. And that's unique and sweet, and I think that's what people respond to.
Can you imagine if you were redoing Star Wars and you get to Empire Strikes Back?
Yeah, I agree with you. Assassin's Creed does have a lot of storylines. Yeah.
And Vader says, "Join me," and you, as Luke Skywalker, go, "Okay." And then the rest of the movie and all of Jedi are completely different because you made that choice. And that is where I think video games fundamentally and vastly differ from every other kind of nerd media that I love.
get it. We're meant to choose.
Hands up!
Time.
Tangos!
Guns down. You don't have to get involved.
We must choose.
For the Witcher.
If you insist. I do not see how I could save the lives of other people.
I also lost someone I loved.
Thing humanity has never had a problem with is the willing suspension of our disbelief. The earliest storytellers saw the primal power in writing, reading, and telling stories, true or fictional.
I think that once you show a player what a world looks like and how a world functions, they get into the world and then that is their reality. And so I think as modern game makers, we have to keep remembering that the suspension of disbelief comes from the creation of a universe and the creation of a world and an immersive world that has rules that are predictable and that are logical, and not from the visual eye candy that we get, with all this horsepower.
And now that we have these consoles
Hold on.
that deliver
Someone calls me.
mind-blowing.
I will be right back. Guess who's back? Sorry for it, my dad just called.
Graphics and beautiful explosions and immersive worlds, there's something more to it. We've taken our inspirations from outside of games with emotion and character development and
My dad was like, today you look a bit okay, you look better than before, that's 100% true, but you still don't have color in your cheeks. Like I'm very tall and I'm very white. So yeah.
storytelling in a way that we've tried to break new ground, that you have an association and an attachment with a character in a game that makes you want to feel for that story, makes you want to feel like you're there making the decisions all along the way.
Good storytelling is not just entertainment. Good stories can help us grow. They can teach us about the past and challenge us to aspire to greater and higher things. The story experience in a video game is no different. The campfire is just a bit brighter and more colorful.
Check out trailer for Astrobot. You have so many recommendations for trailers. It's so funny. By the way, right now I'm home alone, and hopefully, we will finish this and we will finish this in time. So, oh my god, it hurts. I don't know why, but the hand hurts a lot right now. Astrobot. Trailer. Let's see. 3 months ago. Ooh, pretty new. PlayStation. Oh. Is it available only for PlayStation? Why does my heart hurt so bad? Jesus Christ. It's cute. Who knows? It looks nice. I like the visuals. It's very interesting. It's just like Minecraft. It's just like Minecraft the movie. So it's a puzzle. It's It's a bit cartoonish, but he's cute. Looks. Oh, if you remember, we played a game from itch.io at some point. A game that was pretty hard to figure out. It reminds me of that. Ooh. I like the diversity. The levels are so interesting. You can get bored of it, I think. Even desert, wow. This is nice. And a lot of characters, which is great. I think this will be a hit. This looks like a PlayStation. Ah, it is a PlayStation. Wow, okay. Cool. Interesting commercial though. Smart way to promote something. Looks nice. Oh no. Wow. Okay. I'm curious, where can we find it? Let's see if it's on Steam. Hold on. Here, maybe. Steam. Oh, it's not on PC in the future. No? I don't think so. That's a bit sad though. So it's for PlayStation, but it's still nice. Thank you.
To perfectly sync up for it to work, you have art, you have writing, you have music, you have backgrounds, you have timing, you have the voice actors, you have acting, and then video games, you have everything on top of that. It has to be an engaging user experience as well. So I think a good video game, I think, is probably the hardest thing to make.
This looks like the environment for Avatar.
You need the human face. And in the world of film, that is the cheapest thing that you can get. You point the camera at somebody and you have it instantly. But in the world of games, you have a multi-million investment in technology before you see anything that looks like a human face.
I think the most exciting part about this industry is that we're constantly inventing and being fearless about that challenge of invention. And invention's difficult because if you already knew what it was going to be, you wouldn't be inventing it. It would already
I think the PlayStation exclusive should not exist. I don't know what's PlayStation exclusive. What's that?
exist, right? So whenever we invent, whether it's a design idea or a stylistic thing
or something related to the story, we kind of depend upon this trust that there will be inspiration, that there will be revelation.
Then you got to get in and start prototyping stuff. So you build a bunch of prototypes and you start trying to understand, hey, are the ideas we had really fun once you...
Dumb BS, this makes sense. Games only for PS. Yeah. I mean, I won't judge. It's not, what's the thing? This is what makes PlayStation special, right? Maybe you don't want to buy a PlayStation, but you want to buy the game, and you will, like, you 100% want to play that game yourself and not watch it on YouTube, someone else playing it for you. And you will buy the console for the game. So there's also like a bit of a psychological effect here involved.
You put them into an interactive environment.
I think at the alpha stage, hopefully we'll see the fun. It's pins and needles time, because it's that awkward teenage years that, you've got could be an awesome experience. It could really come together nicely. Everyone's really enthusiastic because there's something there to play from beginning to end. But, there are some weird elements to it, and, you've just had a bunch of people come through and point out all your awkwardness, your buck teeth and your, crazy looking eyebrow and all that stuff, and you're sort of hoping that, okay, I see that, I understand it, now I need to kind of go back and fix those things a little bit, make myself a little prettier, get back out on the street and show myself off again.
You start layering on all the really rich assets, things like a great story, the high fidelity art, the fully detailed characters. And once you start marrying this super high production quality with those original bare bones prototypes of your design ideas, you can start really bringing the product together.
You know what I just remembered? When I was a child, it was this a TV channel called Jinx, I think. I don't know if like this, but they used to have a lot of Jinx TV. Yeah. Oh my god, is this still on TV though? I don't know if it still exists, but I used to watch this video, this TV channel, sorry, a lot. So, okay, this is their Jinx TV, home to best video games, news, esports. Ooh, I see where you should have spend your free time. We are making Jinx content free until December. I used to have this TV channel. I don't know if I have it or not, but maybe I should. This is nice. This is something that we can check later on as well. Hey, I came back and electricity also came back. Oh, wow, that's a jackpot. We have 30 more minutes. Almost-ish. Lol, Astrobot on top. Yeah, I see where you should have spent your free time. So, let's keep watching. Oh, not the...
Generally speaking, a laundry list of things that we have to check off and make sure are working properly. We don't touch those as much at Alpha, but they certainly are on our minds at that point as we start to kind of polish up the game, make those adjustments to the gameplay, really try to hone down on what's working well and maybe give it some more resources and time to develop and sort of put aside those things that aren't working as well.
One of the big revolutions we had in the 1990s was we started bringing in people to play our games and watch them play. That's it. But it transformed the way that we make games. I mean, up until that point, we'd pretty much been making the games for ourselves. And so if we thought it was fun, we were done.
You sort of had to make a game and then do, kind of one of these. Did it feel right? You'd have your QA department, but they were paid employees, so you never know if you're getting the best feedback. But now we have this beta testing and ability to talk with the fans. And if you're utilizing that correctly, it's really powerful.
So you hand this, what you think is the gold master, off to the first...
like game testers nowadays, so the process is very...
party in the console world anyway. On the PC side, it's definitely still more of a Wild West. But there's a lot of backlash, certainly if you can't deliver quality, or you have lots of bugs in a PC product. So you hand it off to Microsoft, Sony, Nintendo, and you wait and you wait and you wait. And usually it's, a 10-day waiting game. And, it's always the most nerve-wracking time is that, okay, is this gonna make it through? And so, we get that call maybe, or email, maybe 10 days later or so, and, it's, hey, looks good, celebration ensues, or you've got these, critical issues and these minor issues, and you need to fix, the critical issues and as many minor issues as you can and resubmit. And and then it hits the streets. People either love it or hate it. Most of the time, both. You get both ends, no matter how good your game is. And you sort of you roll with the punches. You let people say their piece.
I look out today, things have changed beyond belief. Titles we saw 1,000 man-years of programming artwork and design work went into them. It's astonishing.
It's making a movie times 1,000. It is daunting. I don't know why I do it.
The evolution of great storytelling in video games couldn't have come at a better time. It seems as if the technology rose to the occasion at precisely the right moment.
Hello, Ali, and welcome here today. What engine they will be using? Oh, so this is a documentary movie about games in general. They are not making a game now. So they are literally talking about the history of games. So, yeah. There are a lot of engines out there.
Moment. From the turn of the century to now, games have never looked better, felt better, or played better. Enter the next generation.
Sorry. Oh god. Oh, nice.
Reinvents itself.
Oops.
It's funny because every few years the industry really kind of reinvents itself. Whether that's
true.
We figure out a new way
Exactly. And this is what we were talking about regarding VR games. So
give that experience to players, or there's a new piece of hardware out there, or some new technology, some new interface. There's always that new challenge.
Right now is a really difficult time for the industry. We are in transition of consoles, and we are seeing a lot of the economic scorecards have come in about what games do and do not make money and which are the best to be doing.
Honestly, it's so hard to predict. I mean, no one would predict that the platforms that are most popular right now, 5 years ago or 10 years ago, no one would predict that that's what would be the norm now.
Every new console generation, we get more and more horsepower. And every console generation, there are people who say, is this enough?
Okay, oh, this is really awesome. And then 5 minutes later, guess wasn't that awesome. I need a new awesome thing,
because we're just so spoiled with it.
The medium has grown up a lot from the early days. I think part of it is that we finally have the technology to render characters in a believable way.
As we look as a studio how we're going to evolve our new IP and moving into this next phase, this next generation of consoles, we're having to think outside the box. We're having to look at how we set the foundation of a structure for the next 10 years.
Publishers, especially in companies, are fairly risk-averse right now because everybody foresees a big change happening and nobody knows what it is.
I often compare indie developers and big, huge studios to a couple of guys in a Zodiac raft and an entirely fully loaded battleship. Each one has its own strengths, and I think where the indie guys literally and figuratively run circles around the big publishers is that they're a lot more mobile. They don't have to make as many complicated boardroom-based decisions. They can focus on the kind of game that they want to make, and because of things like Steam, they can take their game, make it awesome, and then get it directly to players who then spread the existence of their game because they love it so much that they're telling other people about it, they're sharing it on forums, they're giving it to their friend lists, and they don't really need to make that investment of ridiculous amounts of money on advertising and marketing.
The AAA games have beautiful graphics, big budgets, incredible art teams, but that's not always necessarily what makes a great game.
really, whenever a platform has opened itself up to allow hobbyists to be able to create products, you get incredible amounts of innovation.
The interesting thing about that is when you get to a team of like 200 people, the ability to innovate is pretty much zero. You have to basically go with what was designed originally, and that's what the game becomes. The smaller the team, the more you can discover the really important flashes of lightning and flashes of insight that happen after large parts of the game are done. And then you're like, oh, you know, what would be really cool is in this section and that section, if we could do this. You know, and if you have a 200-person team, you can't pivot on a dime like that. You have to be like, well, that would be nice, but we don't have time and we have to get done.
But I do think that there's like a revolution afoot in gaming where people are interested in finding those games that have more character and soul than what they've experienced before.
A large game developer might not be able to take big risks on a virtual reality title that only works in VR and really utilizes it. But in indie, they're driven by passion, by wanting to make the best game possible. They're usually not sitting there saying, how can I make something that really gives me a nice return on investment? And I think that that's going to become more and more important in the game space in the coming years.
Yeah, that's true. My hand hurts so bad. Oh my god. Oh, this is deep.
Campfire, the traditional game controller tied to a screen gameplay experience may have its limitations.
One of the things I'm most excited about is virtual reality. I think a lot of us can remember back in the early 90s when movies like The Lawnmower Man came out and VR was going to be the next big thing. And it never really was, because the headsets were big and clunky, the graphics were crappy. Well, thanks to recent advances in smartphone technology and screens and tracking devices, VR is...
Time to call it a day, don't force yourself. Yeah, I think after this we can close the live, but I really want to finish this with you guys today. I really don't want to have just a few more minutes. So yeah.
set for a big comeback.
I didn't actually
I'm also very happy to be here today with you. You don't have any idea how much I miss doing this for real. Like, I don't know, when I will have a job and maybe I will still be in uni or not, but I will just have the job. I don't know. I will keep doing this because for me, life without YouTube since 2016 is not possible anymore. So yeah.
Started out to create a virtual reality headset. I set out to buy a really nice one. So I tried buying all manner of different head mounts, and none of them was really what I wanted for playing video games immersively. And so I said, oh shoot, well, it looks like I'm gonna have to actually try to make my own. And I actually found that it was something that there was a lot of technology that advanced over the last few years, and it was actually something that was finally possible to do.
How do you walk around in that virtual world? How do you physically move in a natural way beyond just sitting down and using keyboard and mouse? That's why we developed the Omni. It's an interface that allows you to walk and move freely and naturally in your favorite game.
Oh my god. See, so by the way, congrats on 500 subscribers. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Also for being here every time. So yeah, you know, we were talking about VR. Well, this thing for supporting you, like you can hit yourself anymore in the wall or something like that. I feel like it's the best alternative to protect yourself also.
But when you break it all down, I hope we never get rid of the kind of gaming where I just get to sit on a couch and push some buttons for a while.
Yeah, also that.
Could those early pioneers, whose ideas eventually gave birth to an industry, have guessed what it one day would become? Would it be foreign to them? Or did they have a feeling from the beginning that the ideas and creativity of each generation of new designers and artists would forever reinvent the medium?
You know, back when we were working on games on the Atari 800, I think people would have laughed if you said, this is going to be a meaningful art form and it's going to be in the Smithsonian one day.
I never thought it would amount to anything. Nolan was running around saying, oh, it's going to be a big industry and we're going to sell millions of games and it's going to take over. And I fully expected that Atari was going to fail until the day Nolan and Joe came back from the visiting Warner, he informs us they want to pay this money for us, you know, like $20 million or $30 million. It was like, what?
The amazing thing for us, you know, back in the early days is we envisioned this. We really did look forward to a day where video games would be interactive movies, would look like interactive movies. And I mean, we are there.
The spirit of curiosity and invention that was there at the industry's creation is still its driving force. Fresh interpretations of classic stories. What began as a single pixel has now redefined what storytelling is for the 21st century and beyond.
The future of games inherently gets tied up into the future of technology in a lot of ways, and it's really hard to know beyond a couple years where technology is going to go.
We have a faster rate of invention than probably any medium before it.
It's so funny to think that an industry that is part of our daily life was actually non-existent almost 5 years ago. Yeah, I know, right? It is. Like, oh my god, you know what? I'm really curious right now if my grandparents ever had the chance to play something. But I think no. I don't think so. I mean, even nowadays they have phones with buttons because they just don't want to, you know, buy a smartphone or something like that. They say, nah, it's maybe too complicated for me or something. But they still have that game with a snake. I don't think they play it. Like, what were people doing before that? Exactly what they were doing before smartphones, right? Because smartphones, I think, are even more powerful. Or maybe not. Are they? Are smartphones more powerful than games? I don't know. This is a very interesting debate. Yeah, the gaming industry actually started in 1970s, so it's very young, and she calculated the years. Yeah, I mean, who knows? I haven't been there to talk. We have to talk to someone that's that old. We really do. Maybe I can try to find someone that will want to have an interview with me at some point about this. Would love to do that though. I have to do a little bit of research. This is another interesting thing to think about. You know, guys, I also had a promised interview with someone else, someone also popular, not as popular as Freya, but also someone popular. Haven't talked to that person, unfortunately, because for me it's a special video and a special occasion, and I didn't want to be like this on camera. But unfortunately, I don't think there's another option because I still have to keep this, and I mean I'm gonna change this one on Monday with another thing that's still gonna keep my hand in a very static position, so I won't be able to move. Yeah, so I'll be like this for more than 1 month, I think. God knows.
I think video games in the next 30 to 40 years are going to be unimaginable, where you can't tell fantasy from reality and you can live the dream that you've always wanted to live.
We have a lot of really intelligent people becoming intelligent through the use of this stuff.
Video games, I feel like, are inching towards the holodeck, because that's the end goal, is to have to be as much like real life as possible.
Couldn't the whole world just be digitized and that make it an easier, safer, and better place? I could see us getting there and getting there quick. What is the ineffable sort of characteristics that make real life important? I think this is what video games are going to start challenging in the next 20 years.
The size and scope of the modern video game industry might well be far beyond the greatest expectations of the men who began it. But games will continue to be created as they always have, by drawing on history and culture, imagination and technology, to deliver stories and experiences that delight and challenge generations to come, whatever form the games may take.
I think that's why a lot of nerds play video games, because we have it pretty tough. We don't quite fit in
But in a game, we always fit in. Always.
Even though I make them every day, even though I play broken games for years before they're perfect and we put them on a shelf, and you know there's so many issues that go along with that, I still have the capability of being transported back to that little kid wrapped in a blanket, staying up way too late, sitting in front of a tiny television, obsessed. And I really, really want to give that to another 8-year-old kid and have him feel the same thing 30 years from now as well.
It's the same reason that kids play cowboys and Indians when they're young, or you saw Star Wars. You want it to be that. It's fantasy fulfillment, and being able to do fantasy fulfillment on the level of fully interactive worlds that you can explore and get lost in.
It was how to get my game to delight as many people as possible. And it's coming back to this fundamental thing that we do in the games industry, is delight people, is entertain people.
You know, I used to say to people, you know, someday everybody will be a gamer. And, you know, that was like an aspirational thing. Now I can't even use that line anymore because because it's like, duh, well, everybody is.
There's something which we never expected, which was an assumption you'd have in the film industry to some degree, that you make a film and people could archive the film and see it decades or hundreds of years later. In the game industry, I never thought that would be the case. And seeing people who are still loving these old games means that they'll probably be surviving for decades to come in some form or another.
There are a lot of people that have dreams. I like to say everyone who has ever had a shower has had a good idea. It's the people who dry off and do something about them that makes the difference. I think the world is way too interesting to dwell on your past. And I'm proud of my participation in this industry. But I think that what is really more remarkable is how we can take all the things we've learned and push it yet one step further.
Yeah, I really liked this one. It was very interesting to watch. And as I promised, I'm gonna paste the link in the description of this live stream so you guys can watch it yourself. Maybe I can change the camera so you will only see me now, so it's not that, you know, weird to see the stuff that I'm doing meanwhile. So it was a very nice live stream. I swear I really missed being here today with you. Yeah, I promised you I'm doing it. Hold on, watch it here. There you go. Okay. So now it's in the description. Maybe not for you because you are still here on the live stream, so it didn't refresh itself, but it is. So I did that. You know what I'm thinking? Do you guys want me to show you my Nintendo DS console? I don't know. Just let me know if you're curious. If you're not, I won't show it. But if you're curious, I can go downstairs. I can bring it to you, and I can just show it. The best part for me was how video games actually saved lives. Yeah, that's very, I don't even know how to describe it. It's powerful. It's very powerful. Yes, show us. Okay, so maybe just give me a minute. You know what? I will just let you with this in the background. So, can you hear anything? I'm just curious if you can. No, you can't. Okay, so it's fine. I won't take any copyright. I'll be right back, okay? I'll be right back. Just give me 1 minute. I can also maybe... I'm curious, but I don't want to give you trouble. No, I'm fine. I'll be right back. Just give me 1 minute, okay? So it's gonna be fine. What I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna... Hold on, I'm gonna switch the scene for videos. Yes, okay, it's fine. Well, just like this. Okay. I'm gonna be right back. Hold on. Okay, so guess who is back? Maybe I can play the music a bit. So, 1 second. Not. Oh my god! Now I'm gonna open up all the pages that I've been. And you know, this is not a good idea. Give me 1 second so I can play, or maybe I don't know. Hope you guys had a good time. Maybe, yeah. I'm gonna do it like this. So, I just brought my Nintendo with me. The thing is, I can't use my right hand. I will only use my left hand. Hopefully, we can, you can see things. So, this is my old Nintendo DS. This has made my childhood the best one, literally. I'm gonna open it up with one hand. You can see, hold on, the console itself. I'm thinking if I should take it with me in Belgium where I'm currently studying, but I'm just afraid. I know, I'm just afraid. I'm just afraid if it disappear, if it just disappear from my room, literally where I'm in Romania or something, I know, I'm just a bit concerned. I love it way too much to let something happen to it. Unfortunately, I traveled with it a lot back in the days, and I've been in a like huge bus and in France, and I gave this to a girl. She played with it, and she lost the stick, and that's pretty sad. Yeah, it is antique. Yes, and I don't want to sell it or anything. Imagine I haven't changed the battery for this since 2008, and I've played on this, I think, way more than I've ever used my phone. I don't know. Now it's a part of history. You should preserve it. Yes, that's true. This is why I'm keeping it home. I've never had a game because the games are mostly inserted here on the upper part. I've never had a game here in this slot, but I saw Zelda, for example. I saw a lot of Zeldas here. Maybe I will buy one at some point. Now I'm gonna show you the games that I bought during 2020 when I used to stay a lot inside. So I told you about the games with dogs. This is what I had back in the days when I think this was the second game that I got. Come on, focus. Maybe I can. No, I can't. Why it's so hard using only one hand? I don't know. That is gonna be a bit tough, but we can still have fun. This is the Lego with Indiana Jones one. I hope you can see it. This is the Brave with the princess. Okay. Imagine I bought all this in 2020. Like, how crazy. I don't know. This is with the pirates. Yeah, it's not focusing. There is a lack of focus. The Cars one. Lego Batman. That's why whenever I give something to someone, I don't even stare. I just make sure she keeping it carefully as I do. Yeah, it was a heart brave haha, nostalgia. Yeah, is my favorite Disney princess. The thing is, it was a bit hard back then because I didn't want to give it to anyone, and my mom was like, "Come on, you can borrow it at least once in your life for someone." And I was like, "But what if something happens?" And she was like, "What can happen? Like what?" And I was like, "I don't know, maybe something." And then she lost it, and I think I cried for like 2 days or 3 days straight. I mean, I still have something else instead of this. My dad bought it, of course. My my other gamer is downstairs, I think. It was something because I don't know if you guys remember back in the days when the first smartphones appeared, they all used to have sticks. So my dad just gave me one from an old phone, and it worked. It worked because it's pretty hard for this display because for those who don't know, it's only the lower part of the display that works with the stick. The upper part doesn't. It's just like TV, basically. Bakugan. This is recent. I bought this one almost a year ago. I haven't really played with it, but I was also very obsessed with Bakugan, and I was like, I want to buy everything that I was obsessed with for my Nintendo. So yeah, this is the first game ever. Pokemon Pearl, you can see the way it looks, you can tell it yourself, it's old. It's pretty vintage. And now the cherry, the best part of the cake, it's this one that I'm keeping it like this. Also, I bought it in 2020 and it was very hard to find. GTA Chinatown Wars. Yeah. Grand Theft Auto, this one. And this one is very interesting to play on Nintendo. I think it's the best one to play on Nintendo because it's 2D. It's like from the upper part. And now, how do you think I can show you playing them? Maybe GTA Chinatown Wars. Yes, come on, guys. I think you know that one. Okay, and now the best sound that you will ever hear in this world. Maybe you know what I can do? But you won't hear me anymore, I think. I have an idea, but I don't know if it's... give me 1 second, okay? 1 second. I disappeared. Oh. Give me 1 second and I'm out, literally. Hold on. I don't know if you can see anything. What I want to do... Please tell me you can hear me. If you can't, I'm just sad. Yeah, hopefully. Oops. Best sound ever, literally. It doesn't focus, right? Why it's so hard and I can't play it? Anyways. Or can you? Maybe I can watch it on my phone. Wait. I can watch it on my phone. Still maybe. Yes, we can see you and hear. Oh wow. Oh, this is unexpected. Hold on. Whoop. Oh, come on, focus. Wait. Hold on. This is the best position. Okay. Like this. Like this. I can see anything. Literally. I'm looking. It's so hard. Yeah, but I think you saw. I seriously want you to Why? Is it that bad? Hold on. Just hold on. Wait. I've tried, okay. I really did. So you saw it? You saw the games? I think, yeah. Anyways. It's 2D and green. Oh! Now I can see. Okay. Said I can... Wait. But yeah, anyways. It's not bad at all. PS is visible and you are audible. Interesting. First time ever when everything works. At least for now. Well, maybe if you guys are interested, maybe I can record videos with Nintendo DS, but this channel is gonna be so weird. Like, I don't know. We started as trying to become game developers and ended up as nostalgic gamers. Pretty weird. But yeah, this was the live stream. I don't know what's going on anymore with with this. You know what I'll do next? I will lay in the bed and I will edit my reaction to the Minecraft movie trailer, I think, because it's a very, very hot topic. And I was thinking about it and I'm like, both are same, kinda. And I'm thinking about maybe we can do that. So, yeah, I don't know if it's gonna worth watching or I'm just gonna rewatch it. I was pretty bad at, I don't know, judging the Minecraft trailer, but it's funny. You'll become a game developer one day, don't worry. Yeah, hopefully getting rid of this. Wait, maybe I can show you, or maybe not. I don't even know. See, this is how it's. Yeah, that's the mechanism. Well, it was a pleasure to be here with you today. Thank God everything worked fine, and I was able to sit here for almost 3 hours. Wow. Wow, that's nice. Well, take care, guys. Please take care, even though I say that at the end of every video. You know, I don't listen to my own advice. Well, that's a bit of a shame. But yeah, I'm not a conformist, as always. Hopefully, from now on, we can start doing live streams again. I don't know about this weekend, though. It depends. Maybe right now I will try to move around more because I stay in the bed for 2 weeks straight. I didn't go anywhere else. So yeah, now I have to also walk a bit more. I enjoyed myself. Thank you so much. Thank you very much for being here. See ya. Yeah, take care. And I will try my best to be active again as soon as possible. Yeah. Bye, guys.